Todd Haley said, I wasn't brought in here to be his friend. I was brought in to make some changes, and they have.
Short kick fielded on the run up at the 11-yard line. Brandon Tate. And Tate, good run back out to the 38-yard line. And the Bengals, in effect, 2 touchdowns as Dalton throws and the pass is incomplete. A.J. Green lunging for it. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. Well, Cincinnati, one thing, Chris, is they are undefeated at home. And after tonight, they're done with road games. And they go home and they'll take on Minnesota and then Baltimore the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they've scored over 40 points in the last 3 games at home and under 20 average on the road the last 3. So this has been a team that little Jekyll and Hyde, depending on if they're playing in Cincinnati or not.
Here's a toss to Benjarvis Green Ellis. A short gain and a penalty flag.
And I think they're going to get Andrew Whitworth on that one.
Holding. Offense, number 77.
Indeed.
10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Andrew Whitworth is quick enough to make that block, and he reached out and grabbed instead. Moving into that guard position, you have to give him a lot of credit. Here's a guy that's probably going to get voted to go to the Pro Bowl playing left tackle. They move him inside, which may or may not allow him to get those kind of votes now. People will see him at guard and be sort of split with their votes. But a great team leader, great guy as far as doing whatever it takes to win.
8th year in the league out of LSU. Whitworth, Dalton, and he's going to move up to the 32-yard line. Be 3rd and long.
Here's the replacement over at left tackle, Anthony Collins, working against Hayward on that side, and you can see the ability to move his feet. He is a very quick guy. Played basketball all the way through until his senior year of high school, and then came out and they put him on the defensive side. Went to Kansas, and they started working with him at left tackle, and here he is playing the National Football League and starting. So not a lot of experience for him, but a guy who definitely is making his presence felt.
5 wide on 3rd and 15. Set up a screen to Gresham. And the tight end lunging and then loses the ball as he tried to pick up the 1st down. But they're going to say down by contact, just a yard shy of the 1st down at the 46-yard line.
I'm not so sure. I'm going to have to see this one again. Ball definitely gets ripped out by Polamalu. Does that knee down? I don't know about that one. I'm a little surprised the Bengals are going to punt this football, too. Well, a challenge flag down already.
The crowd is seeing this, and it's a clear recovery by Pittsburgh, by Hood. So there is the 2nd challenge flag thrown by Tomlin. He won an earlier one and figures to win this one as well.
But the runner was down before the ball came out.
Ed Hockley under the hood, back after this.
The ball did come out. The player's shin was on the defender's arm. He therefore was not down when the ball came loose. It's Pittsburgh's ball, 1st down on the 48-yard line. And Pittsburgh is not set up to play out. Pittsburgh has won the first 2 challenges. They have another challenge remaining.
Yep. Rule instituted a couple of years ago. You get 2 challenges, and then you get a 3rd if you win the prior 2, and that's the situation Tomlin's in right now.
How about Troy Polamalu? Who would have believed that Ben Roethlisberger would have had the year he's having, Troy Polamalu would have had the year he's having, and the Steelers would be having the year that they're having?
Right.
I mean, you just don't anticipate that happening, but I think due to a lot of early injuries and not being able to play their style of football, it just caught up to them with that slow start.
Came out of the gate 0-4, then won 5 out of 7. But then those 2 killer losses to Baltimore and Miami the last 2 weeks. Bell swings to the outside. Hurdle move and a gain of 8. Flag down.
Holding. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat 1st down.
Tight end Matt Spaeth.
Spaeth a hold on the outside as Le'Veon Bell started to bounce out. He just reacted to that. I guess had a little bit of the jersey right there, which they all do. And then Le'Veon Bell. I tell you, I really enjoy watching him play. For a young guy, he is so patient. And there you see the athleticism as well. Good young player.
And Kirkpatrick said, what was that that just went by me? Hurdling over the cornerback. It's first down and 20. And they fake a couple of handoffs, and then it's Bell who takes it. And Bell, who needed 20 for a first down, gets about 17 of those before Burfict makes the tackle.
It's a really good play by Vontaze Burfict. That one looked like it was about to go the distance here. I think that's him coming out right there, and he is getting trapped inside. Now he's got to weave his way through all these offensive linemen, or else that one is in trouble. Vontaze Burfict leading the National Football League in tackles. Now, what a find for the Cincinnati Bengals. A guy, an undrafted free agent, 33 linebackers taken ahead of him.
Fake to Dwyer. Look at that time for Roethlisberger, airing it out. The pass underthrown and picked off at the 1 yard line. Intended for Sanders, and that's Adam Jones who's able to get a bead on it and bring it in for the pick.
Just could not do it any better than Pac-Man just did it. Nice play.
Waving the towels tonight after the Adam Jones interception on a pass I think that the wind wreaked a little havoc with and held up. Underthrown from the 2 yard line now. The Bengals start this drive with a Green Ellis 2 yard run, and back we go to the pick.
Well, Pac-Man Jones in great position, but this ball truly gets away from Ben Roethlisberger. Key is he gets his head around, comes up with his 3rd interception of the year, but you could see the flight of this football. The wind's going to get it, and it slipped out a little bit. And anytime you're playing in this kind of wind, if it's not a tight spiral, you're going to get one of those.
208 passes thrown by Roethlisberger between interceptions. He hadn't thrown one in 4.5 games. A.J. Green will pick up the first down out to the 15 yard line. And we're going to get blamed for it, of course, because Ben likes to warm up underneath the stands about an hour and a half before the game. We always give him like a note or two from Kenny Hurt and the Elias Sports Bureau. So I started to tell him about his interception streak. He said, stop. I said, yeah, you're right. It's the kibosh.
Yeah, and easy on the we going to get the blame.
Right.
He's going to get the blame.
We're a team, man. There's no I in team.
I'll remind you of that.
From the 15 yard line, that's caught in 20 by Mohamed Sanu.
And this is really what Andy Dalton and the Bengals like to do, and they just really have never gotten into their offense tonight. These quick release throws, it has been the signature part of this offense. Andy Dalton has not been taking the sacks. Had one bad game against Miami down there, threw a couple of really bad balls in that one, but for the most part, pretty consistent play this year.
Second and 5 from the 20. Play clock at 2. Dalton under pressure. Hit as he throws and just throws it away. Able to get out of the pocket. Hayward put the pressure on, 3rd down and 5.
Well, here's one of the problems you've got on the outside. Jarvis Jones, the young rookie, led the nation in sacks. And if there is an issue right now with Anthony Collins and a question about him is, can he stand up to a real strong bull rushing kind of player? And that time Jarvis Jones just drove him right back into Andy Dalton. Very quick feet for Anthony Collins, but questions about can he just sustain the power.
3rd and 5. They run a stunt up front. It's tipped and it's incomplete. 4th down intended for A.J. Green, and for Dalton it's a 10 for 23 night thus far for 95 yards total.
And really he has not gotten a lot of help out here either. I mean, these are definitely catchable balls that are going through their hands, and now it gets interesting.
So Mike Nugent forced into punting duties with the injury to Huber.
Antonio Brown's too deep.
Yep. Line drive, bouncing kick, and again takes a pretty good roll for him. And rolls to a stop at the 36 yard line after a 43 yard kick, which is just about the league average. 10.5 to go, third quarter. Pittsburgh up by 20. It's dangerous enough just jumping in the Ohio River when it's 75. This is Le'Veon Bell picking up 2. Well, Le'Veon Bell, we go back to Thanksgiving night. We all remember the Mike Tomlin episode, and this will stick in our minds for a while too, is they're going in for what they had hoped would be a tying touchdown with a 2-point conversion. The helmet comes off. He doesn't remember anything, and of course that play was whistled dead the moment the helmet came off and was spotted at the 2-inch line, and there he was all woozy and doesn't remember anything after that.
But he thinks the concussion came from when his head hit the ground, not from the initial hit on the contact when his head sort of snapped down and hit the turf.
Well, that's Kelvin Beachum, the left tackle of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's go to Michelle.
Yeah, more on Le'Veon Bell. I was there as he was walked off the field looking very woozy on Thanksgiving. He said, all I remember is the next day my alarm going off, and I had a message to call the training room. So I called, and that's when he got the news about what had happened. And he said, it comes back to me a little bit when I watch the film. But you're right, Chris. He doesn't think the hit is what knocked him out. It was his head hitting the ground.
There's something about that action, even if you have the helmet on, that sort of whip effect that happens so many times when you hit the ground and your head snaps down. But this is a big injury if it is one for Kelvin Beachum. He has played very well, set out last week. Now Mike Adams comes in. So I'm sure the Bengals are going to take their shot to see if Michael Johnson can get some pressure against him.
Adams, number 2 pick last year out of Ohio State. And Roethlisberger, deep drop, good protection, and hits Antonio Brown on the far sideline. The Bengals trying to contend he was out of bounds. At least one of the coaches along the sideline, but got both feet down.
Well, let's give some credit to Mike Adams over there. A little stunt over on his side. He picked it up perfectly and allowed Ben time to throw the football down the side. There it is, a little inside, and then Domata Peko coming around, and Roethlisberger with time has been too much tonight.
That was a 20-yard gain, and now Bell on the ground to the 40. Roethlisberger going no huddle as he did for the vast majority of the first half.
Really have not attacked Dre Kirkpatrick yet. I just can't imagine too many more plays without taking a shot, as now the Bengals forced to come up and challenge a bit.
Kirkpatrick, bottom of the screen on Sanders. Upcoming is 2nd down and 9. And Roethlisberger throwing. It's caught by Miller. And Heath gets taken down by George Iloka. And that's another first down. Gain of 8, make it 13 yards.
Well, that was an either or. It was man coverage on the outside. Iloka here trying to cover Heath Miller. And in fairness, if Heath Miller had been running routes like that in those first 4 games, they wouldn't have lost the first 4 games. I mean, that's just a fact.
Steelers were 0 for September, and Roethlisberger said we were probably the worst team in the league after September. Le'Veon Bell puts his head down and takes the ball to the 21-yard line. So Bell getting the full workload tonight. Flag is thrown. Bell carrying 15 times.
How about Le'Veon Bell? What a cut that was, and then the way he finished that run. Love that.
After the play was over, taunting by the defense, number 20. Pass the distance to the goal. First down.
Reggie Nelson. How do you taunt when you're down by 20 points?
That's the Bengals. Le'Veon Bell there, a perfect little jump cut. Michael Johnson, just no match for that stiff arm. Now watch him finish this run. This is a 230-pound back who just runs over Jason DeMonch. That's fantastic. I'm telling you, this team is a different team than what they were. And then Reggie Nelson, are we going to beat up Ramon Foster? Come on.
1st and 10. They can't get a first down without a touchdown. They empty the backfield. Roethlisberger, good protection again, and then the pass is incomplete, dropped by Jericho Cotchery at the 5-yard line, 2nd down.
we just have not seen Ben hit very often in this game. And I think back to Roethlisberger a few years prior to when Todd Haley came in here, and he wasn't finishing seasons. Even when he did finish the year, I can remember him in the playoffs, and he was so beat up in his legs, and he couldn't move, and he couldn't do all the stuff. And so there was a mandate, and it was Ben's going to change. He is going to be forced to make some changes. He wasn't happy. He wasn't comfortable. He lost his friend Bruce Arians, but he's buying in now.
Bell to the outside. Gets around the corner for a short gain. Make it 3rd down and 6.
Well, defenders around the National Football League, be ready. We're going to have a new stiff arm guy here as a running back. It was sort of interesting in talking to Le'Veon about his play. He said as he went through college, he noticed that he was getting slower, and he had gotten up to about 245 pounds. So he lost weight. He's down around 230 now, and he still has some of the power, but you're seeing the quickness come back that really wasn't there his final year at Michigan State.
3rd and 6. Give it to him again. And Bell gets to the 3-yard line. Perfect makes the tackle. 4th and 2. Beecham came back into the game. What crowd doesn't want every team to go for it in every situation? So smattering of boos as Sweezum comes out to try to make it a 30-7 game. 2 misses all year, coming back to back in a game at Oakland in midseason. 21-yard attempt. And before the play,
false start offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
this guy Wimper turning it into a 26-yard attempt now.
I don't know if Marvin Lewis would admit this, but I think, of course, they lose their best cornerback, Leon Hall, earlier this year. And Terrence Newman out this game, who was the best corner now remaining, and just not willing to play all the man coverage until just the last few snaps because they are so thin now back in the secondary, and it's really kind of impacted the way they played this one.
Squeeze him with the 26-yarder. He's 3 for 3 tonight, and with 6:18 to play in the 3rd, it's 30-7 Steelers. Very impactful game in the NFC and 2 divisions next Sunday night on NBC. Here's Brandon Tate. And he gets forced out of bounds up at the 37-yard line. Well, Chris, the Steelers have a lot of decisions to make. The defense, a lot of these guys have been around a long time. They've, of course, started a little bit of a purge with Casey Hampton gone and Harrison and Aaron Smith over the last couple of years. And they figured to do some retooling as well. Kiesel is 35, inactive tonight. Taylor 33, Clark 34, Polamalu 32. So what does the offseason bring as Gresham takes it up to the 38-yard line? What do you think is going to happen here?
I think it's tough decisions in a lot of positions. Emmanuel Sanders, Jericho Cotchery at the wide receiver position. What do they do there? You talked about the secondary getting older, and Troy Polamalu is making a lot of money next year. Will he be willing to restructure or redo that deal? You've got Brett Kiesel. You've got decisions at the outside linebacker position. Lamar Woodley and Jason Worlds. Is Jason Worlds playing great now? And Jarvis Jones, the young rookie. Will they keep all 3? Tough decisions.
And that pass is caught by Green for a first down. I mean, there's even some chatter. Well, there's chatter everywhere these days. But Dick LeBeau is 76 years old, and some people wondering, well, maybe it's time. And Mike Tomlin will hear nothing of it.
Yeah, well, they were saying the same thing when he was ranked number 1 in defense for about 3 or 4 years in a row. And I think it's a little bit natural due to his age. But when you look at the way they play defense, watch them tonight, you're not thinking, boy, it's passed them by any means.
And And that's caught, gain of 7, Marvin Jones. And let's check in with Michelle again.
Well, I asked Lawrence Timmons about that blame that Dick LeBeau is taking for the defense this season, and he said that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's the wizard of making calls and just a joy to be around. Words can't really express the way Coach LeBeau is. Just the energy he provides and just being around him is amazing. Pretty much the standard comments you get about Coach LeBeau.
Yeah, Michelle, we've been hearing that from almost everybody on their defense since Dick came here. 2nd down and 2. And that's a first down as Green collects it, forced out by Allen. Part of the reason, of course, is you look at the Steeler defense. They're right in the middle in points per game allowed, yards per game, but the rushing defense has not been good at all. Opponent passer rating, middle of the pack, but all the Steelers' averages, the worst under Dick LeBeau.
Well, and you have to remember that they lost the quarterback of this defense on opening day. The same day they lost Marquise Pouncey, so the 2 signal callers on either side contributed mightily to the fact they got off the 0-4 start. They've really been pretty good since.
Talking about Larry Foote, as Marvin Jones, who scored 4 touchdowns in one game against the Jets earlier this season, takes the ball to the 28-yard line and close to a first down.
Marvin Lewis Jones actually is his name, and he has provided some real excitement. He talked about the 4-touchdown game, but he has become a bit of the deep threat that's taken some pressure off of A.J. Green on the other side. They has really added the balance to this offense, and I know it hasn't looked like much so far tonight, but generally this is a pretty tough offense to try and defend.
Yeah, great balance between running and passing and a lot of pass distribution, but tonight Green's caught 7. Nobody else more than 2, and this is Bernard picking up the first down to the 24-yard line.
Well, I still think the Bengals are in a pretty good spot, although you have to say losing this game tonight, or at least apparently losing this game, a lot of things come into play now. They are not guaranteed, certainly, of a division title, because the Ravens hold the tiebreaker and play in the last game of the season. And even the wild card now is not assured. So big game next week against Minnesota to get back on track.
Big game for Baltimore tomorrow night at Detroit, as Gresham makes the catch and toe dances his way down the sideline. Gain of 8, 2nd down and 2.
There are just some quarterbacks in the league, when the weather turns for the worst, they get better, you know, and Ben Roethlisberger is one of those guys at the top of the list. He is just so big and so strong and can handle the football in any sort of conditions with those big hands. And you know, this is a team built to win championships when the weather turns cold. And I think Andy Dalton and the Bengals have to prove that they can do likewise.
Well, Ben from Ohio, went to Miami of Ohio, been here 10 years. A lot of bad weather games, and that pass is tipped. Talking to Andy Dalton last night, and Dalton couldn't remember a really cold game that he's played in. He's playing in one tonight.
I tell you, this Al Woods has played a nice game here tonight. Getting a push here against Andrew Whitworth and gets just far enough back in there, arms fully extended, gets him up and knocks that pass down. Andy Dalton gets a lot of passes deflected, about as many as anybody in the NFL.
3rd and 2. And that'll move the chains, and Green gets taken down at the 5-yard line, setting up a 1st and goal for the Bengals.
You know, Cortez Allen out there, and they have not flip-flopped with Ike Taylor tonight to stay on A.J. Green. Good time that time by A.J. Green coming back for the ball, and I thought Dick LeBeau described A.J. Green about as well as anybody. He said he is a big man, he's fast, but he does it with grace. You know, which is really about describes his game. Great ability to go up to the highest point and catch the football. Tremendous talent.
On 1st and goal, slipping and going down as he reached the line of scrimmage, Giovanni Bernard. It'll be 2nd down and goal as we tick down to a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter.
I'll tell you the other guys that really have not been a huge factor. One right there, Jermaine Gresham, getting worked on the sideline, and Tyler Eifert, the #1 draft pick. They have been a big part of this offense in tandem, but they really have not had much effect here tonight.
Gresham's caught 3 passes tonight for 23 yards, and Eifert has been blanked. Green sets up in the slot to the left to give the ball to Bernard, and he'll take the ball to the 1-yard line with less than a half minute to go in the third.
You know, they're letting Giovanni Bernard kind of be the goal line guy, and I don't know of anything that happened to Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. This is typically kind of his role, but I haven't seen much of him.
Green Ellis only 4 carries tonight for 4 yards. Bernard's carried 9 times. There is Green Ellis on the sideline. Will they get the playoff before the end of the quarter? They will not. Clock goes to double zeros. We've played 3 in Pittsburgh. The Steelers lead the Bengals 30-7. Sunday Night Football back after this.
Volg de Engelse topclubs in hun jacht op de eerste prijs van het seizoen. De League Cup. In de competitie werd het een spektakelstuk. Dinsdag Sunderland-Chelsea. Woensdag Manchester United wil vertrouwen tanken tegen Stoke City. En kunnen de Spurs in de beker wel winnen van West Ham? Wie overleeft de kwartfinales van de League Cup? Je ziet het live op Fox Sports.
You're into rushing headlong into chaos and the glorious, mind-blowing freedom of all-out war, we'll see you there.
Battlefield 4, nu tijdelijk in prijs verlaagd.
Wat doen zij nou?
Bonnen scheuren natuurlijk. Want deze week gelden bij Praxis de kortingsbonnen van alle bouwmarkten en tuincentra.
En de kortingsbon van Praxis geldt ook?
Zeker. Daarmee krijg je deze week zelfs 25% korting op alle rolgordijnen en behang.
En deze toiletzitting Eden voor maar €25,60.
Doe het zelf.
Doe het samen.
Met Praxis.
Hey! My new washing machine can see! Okay. Yeah, it has eye-sensoric technology. It's a whole network of sensors. It's got the aqua sensor. It's got a flow sensor. It's even got a load sensor plus. What do you need all that for? To wash my laundry clean.
Siemens presenteert iSensoric, de sensorgestuurde technologie die perfect zorgt voor je was. For a life less ordinary. Koop nu een Siemens iSensoric wasmachine en ontvang een jaar lang gratis wasmiddel.
When I close my eyes and I'm all alone, I can see as clear as day. 'Cause
Wil jij het gevoel hebben dat je er echt bij bent? Hoor wat je zou moeten horen. Het Bose Solo TV Sound System geeft je een sound waar de meeste tv's niet tegenop kunnen. Luister en oordeel zelf.
Hey Marco, waar blijft hij nou?
Ja, als een auto zal het niet liggen, Els.
Marco, Ilsa, surprise! Merry Christmas, everybody!
Wherever you are and using just the power of light, Seiko Astron connects to the GPS satellites. In all 39 time zones on Earth, Astron gives you the exact time. Astron GPS Solar from Seiko.
Het nieuwe album van Marco Borsato, 1000 Spiegels, nu overal verkrijgbaar.
Third down and goal as we start the fourth quarter from the 1-yard line. And they'll give it to Bernard, and he will angle his way in. Since they're signaling touchdown, but the guys in the stripes have not.
It looked like he got over the line, but maybe not. Let's see.
Not a scoring play, so if Lewis wants it looked at, he's got to challenge.
I don't know how those line judges make that call anyway. I think they get a little help from the umpire every once in a while.
Coin flip.
Yeah.
Pecco is the fullback. Bernard is the running back. 4th and goal. And Dalton's going to throw, and that's going to be caught by Eifert for a touchdown. So we talked about Eifert, rookie #1 pick out of Notre Dame, makes his first catch of the night on a 4th and goal.
Tyler Eifert, big 6'5" target. This is what they did with him at Notre Dame. They just would flank him out and let him have his way with safeties that would come out and try and cover him. It's one of the reasons the Bengals really coveted him, was his ability to move around. You know, you think of the Patriots and those 2 tight ends and the way they play those deals. And really the Bengals have been doing a lot of that this season, and it's been working.
6'6" Eifert got position on Ryan Clark. Nugent now. Dalton's going to hold with Huber out of the game, and well, all of a sudden it's a 2-possession lead.
That's it.
30-14. And that goes through the hands of Felix Jones, and he'll down it in the end zone. The Steelers will take it to the 20. Less than a minute into the 4th quarter at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, PA. Pittsburgh starts from the 20-yard line, swinging out to Brown, who catches his 5th pass of the night. So he's caught 5 or more in every game this season. Only one guy has caught 5 or more in an entire season, a 16-game season, even though, you know what? They've just called that a run since the pass was behind the line of scrimmage. But there's Jimmy Smith with the Jaguars back in 01. So Brown's going to need one more because that has been ruled as a run.
Will we run the graphic again?
Oh, yes, we will. 2nd and 9. This is Bell. It's another one of those things we told Roethlisberger before the game about that. He said, that's good. Not that he's thinking about that right now, but if he thinks he caught 5 and that's it, somebody should tell Ben. And we go back to line of scrimmage is the 20, so it's a run because it's taken behind the line of scrimmage.
You always worry about those. You drop one of those passes and it's a free ball, and it's a new ball game at that point.
3rd down and 6 from the 24-yard line. And this time it is caught at the 35-yard line, so that makes it official. Also, Pierre Garçon has caught 5 or more in every game this season, 7 today for Washington, so he's on that trail.
Montez Burfict there tried to sort of bluff that he was blitzing and then get back in the middle, but Antonio Brown beat him to the spot.
Blue 30.
And taking some time off the clock now with a 16-point lead, Le'Veon Bell. And Roethlisberger dumps it off on a 2nd and 9, and Bell gets taken down in the open field by Burfict. Make a 3rd down and 6.
It's always kind of fun to watch Ben Roethlisberger jump up and then come back out of that thing. And look at these injuries for the Cincinnati Bengals. Those are key players: James Harrison, Jermaine Gresham, tight end, and then their punter, Kevin Huber.
Got a false start.
False start. Offense number 72. Snap infraction. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Our man Cody Wallace.
Dr. Wallace.
Paging Dr. Wallace.
I'll tell you, though, Ben was really he was impressed with the fact that Cody Wallace able to come in there, no problems with the snaps. There you go, a little double fake there, and tried to. I love how the centers try and play it off when they do that. Like they just look around like nothing happened.
And Roethlisberger takes a timeout here. 10:46 remaining in the fourth quarter, with Pittsburgh on top, 30-14. Well, as we said before, Chris, at least the Bengals, they get to go home, play Minnesota next week. Well, I tell you, you talk about a team you don't know what you're going to get from the Minnesota Vikings. And how in the world did they do that today? You don't have Peterson, you don't have Gerhardt.
You know, Matt Castle comes in there, and I can remember being around that locker room a little bit, and a lot of people had the opinion that he was the best of those quarterbacks when they were there, and now he's sort of proving his worth. Big third down here for the Bengals. They can get off the field here, force a punt. They have a chance to get back in this thing.
So 3rd and 11 at the 34-yard line.
Now you're going to get some of the man pressure.
And Van is going to go down. So a great time for a sack for that Bengal defense, because they're going to force the punt in a 2-possession game, get the ball back. Wallace Gilberry got to him.
Yeah, they bring pressure and then loop a linebacker around. So really just sort of overwhelm here, bring one more than they could pick up. And this Wallace Gilberry, nobody even knows who he is. But he now, I believe, takes over the sack lead for the Cincinnati Bengals with 7.5, something like that.
Correct. And Matt McBriar picked up in midseason after they let Zoltan Nesko go, and that punt will bound out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 30-14, Cincinnati with the ball. From the 25, first down. Pass caught up at the 30-yard line by Eifert, who scored the touchdown on the last drive, and he's up to the 44-yard line. And all of a sudden,
we've seen it all day today, haven't we? Asked the Dallas Cowboys about comebacks and the Arizona Cardinals, and 10 minutes to go, and still plenty of time here. Boy, Tyler Eifert's got some quick feet for a tight end.
6'6" and 250 from the 44-yard line. That pass behind Green, but he's able to reach back, make the grab, and pick up a first down, gain of 11.
Well, we've seen A.J. Green juggle in the past. He is a legitimate juggler, and a little bit of those skills right there on display.
You say a circus catch, you really mean it with this guy.
He does.
From the Pittsburgh 45. That pass is caught at the 35-yard line, and this is Marvin Jones. And they will spot the ball across the 35, and that's a first down.
Boy, the energy level has just completely shifted now to the Cincinnati Bengals side of the ball. This no huddle has kind of perked them up and planted this Pittsburgh defense in sort of a set look. And now we're starting to see what Andy Dalton can do.
From the 34-yard line. Keep it on the ground this time. Bernard swings to the outside. Dalton looks to make a block. Tripped up by Polamalu at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, no wide receiver is going to block Troy Polamalu, trust me. There's Marvin Jones getting a little lesson in that, and then chasing him down from behind. I don't know what they're paying him next year, around $10 million, but I think I'd just say, here you go, Troy.
Second down and 8. And that's caught by Jones. Jones goes down a little short of the first down. 3rd and inches upcoming inside the 25-yard line. Under 8 minutes to play.
You see the pass rush starting to slow down. This no huddle wears out pass rushers and play into Cincinnati's favor.
And Bernard's going to find a crease and move the chains and move some of the Steelers with him as he takes it to the 18-yard line.
Well, I didn't know Giovanni Bernard was able to push piles the way that he has here tonight. We saw it down on the goal line as well. This is a little guy, gets through there, but he runs right through Ibran Fangupo. He didn't even see him.
To the outside, and that is incomplete. Marvin Jones couldn't hang on to it. Pass right there. 2nd down and 10.
This is a team that I really do think they have the tools, but for them to make a run, in all likelihood, they're going to have to get that number 2 seed. They're going to have some home games because they are dynamic at home, scoring so many points, undefeated this year. They just have not been able to translate it on the road in the same way.
2nd and 10 from the 18. And Bernard can't not get out of the backfield. Lawrence Timmons is there. 3rd down and long.
Boy, Lawrence Timmons came out of center field on that one. All the way back here across he must have been lined up 7 yards deep and came running down. Kind of looked like Troy Polamalu on that one. He gets hit and just spins out of it and really makes the tackle lying on his back. Those two guys have a lot in common with the way they play their football.
3rd and 11. I would think this is a 4-down situation here. A 16-point game. You'd go for it on 4th down. We'll see. 3rd and 11. And that pass is caught out in the flat. And this is Sanu. And he'll take the ball to the 13-yard line. A field goal doesn't help you that much at this particular point. You'd still need 2 more scores. 6.5. Dalton looks over to the bench, and Marvin says, keep the offense out there.
Yeah, I guess the only thing it would do if you could manage to score twice is take away where you'd have to convert both 2-point conversions, but this is the right decision.
Absolutely. 4th and 5. The ball is at the 13-yard line. 6 minutes left in the 4th. Just do get the snap off on time.
Wow.
And wide open is Marvin Jones for a touchdown. On 4th and 5, Jones is left alone in the left corner of the end zone.
They end up playing this, not get too technical, but a cover 2 defense in which they're going to play guys here, and then Ike Taylor is going to see this out-breaking cut, but really that is his assignment. I don't think that he had Marvin Jones in the back. The safety is supposed to be able to cover that wide and never got there. Just a good look by Andy Dalton. Here we go.
Have to go for 2. That's Jones's 9th touchdown reception of the season. 2-point conversion, batted and incomplete. Jarvis Jones got it. So we talked before about all the passes deflected and batted down, and a big one there for Pittsburgh. It's 30-20 with 5:46 remaining.
They're set up for the onside kick. We'll see if they get one. Nope.
And that one will bound into the end zone and be down by Jones there. 5:46 remaining as Tomlin's team takes over at its own 20, up by 10. Temperature down to 21 degrees on this frosty night in Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger 183 yards through the air, 1 TD, 1 pick. Brown had that 64-yard punt return, and Huber got hurt on the play as well, so he was done for the night with a fractured jaw. Bernard 1-yard TD run to get Cincinnati on the board, turned it into a 2-possession game, and now it's 30-20 with 5:46 remaining in regulation. Pittsburgh starts from the 20-yard line and through the middle for a gain of 6 yards. Goes Le'Veon Bell. And timeout taken here by Cincinnati, so they have all 3, use 1 here with the 2nd and 4 upcoming. 2nd and 4, a record today, most points scored on any day in NFL history, and that is Le'Veon Bell, who gets taken down by Reggie Nelson behind the line of scrimmage. And Cincinnati will use its 2nd timeout here with a 3rd and 9. So last week we had the most touchdowns scored in a single day, most points today. To me, it's overwhelming, Chris. What can I tell you? In other news, in the American Football Conference, the playoff picture right now, you've got Denver, New England, Cincinnati, and Indy leading the divisions, and Indianapolis has already clinched its division. Denver's clinched a playoff berth. Kansas City wins today in Oakland, so they clinch a playoff berth, and there's one spot remaining. Miami is in that spot right now. Baltimore, San Diego, the Jets, and believe it or not, Pittsburgh still has a 1 in 1,000 shot. They are still mathematically alive.
Speaking of that, the Bengals need a 1 in 1,000 shot right here.
They have to stop after taking those 2 timeouts. It's 3rd down and 7, and Roethlisberger throws, and breaking tackles is Sanders. You had 3 guys there. They had him stop short of the 1st down. Instead, he moves the chains, and Cincinnati has used 2 of its timeouts on this drive.
Just unbelievable. He is surrounded by 3 guys, and somehow all they got to do is make a tackle here. That's Chris Crocker.
De Jong. Waar Milan vandaag het feestje viert van 114 jaar bestaan. Terwijl er voor de wedstrijd ook een enorm groot spandoek was.
First down, but he's able to get out of bounds. You see what's happened here on the last 4 possessions by the Packers in this second half has been incredible. This is where DeMarcus Ware.